August 28th is the 240th day of the year, or the 241st in leap years, in the Gregorian calendar. 125 days remain until the end of the year.
In 1901, Silliman University is founded in the Philippines. It is the first American private school in the country. In 1909, a group of mid-level Greek army officers launches the Goody coup, seeking wide-ranging reforms. And in 1913, Queen Wilhelmina opens the Peace Palace in The Hague.
In 1914, during World War I, the Royal Navy defeats the German fleet in the Battle of Heligoland Bight. In 1916, Germany declares war on Romania and Italy declares war on Germany. In 1917, 10 suffragists, members of the Silent Sentinels, are arrested while picketing the White House in favor of women's suffrage in the United States. In 1921, during the Russian Civil War, the Red Army dissolved the Makhnovshchina after driving the Revolutionary Insurgent Army out of Ukraine. And in 1924, the Georgian opposition stages the August Uprising against the Soviet Union.
In 1936, Nazi Germany begins its mass arrests of Jehovah's Witnesses, who are interned in concentration camps. In 1937, Toyota Motors becomes an independent company. In 1943, during World War II, German authorities demand that Danish authorities crack down on acts of resistance. The next day, martial law is imposed on Denmark. In 1944, Marseille and Toulon are liberated, and in 1946, the Workers' Party of North Korea, predecessor of the ruling Workers' Party of Korea, is founded at a congress held in Pyongyang, North Korea. In 1955, a black teenager named Emmett Till is lynched in Mississippi for, well, whistling at a white woman. This tragic event galvanizes the nascent civil rights movement. Fast forward to 1957, U.S. Senator Strom Thurmond begins a filibuster to prevent the United States Senate from voting on the Civil Rights Act of 1957. He stops speaking 24 hours and 18 minutes later, marking the longest filibuster ever conducted by a single senator. Then, in 1963, the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom takes place. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. gives his iconic I Have a Dream speech, inspiring millions.
1964. The Philadelphia race riot begins. 1968. Police and protesters clash during the Democratic National Convention protests as protesters chant, "The whole world is watching." 1973. Norrmalmstorg robbery. Stockholm police secure the surrenders of hostage-takers Jan-Erik Olsson and Clark Olofsson, diffusing the Norrmalmstorg hostage crisis. The behaviors of the hostages later give rise to the term Stockholm Syndrome. 1988. Ramstein airshow disaster. 3 aircraft of the Freki Tricolore demonstration team collide, and the wreckage falls into the crowd. 75 are killed, and 346 seriously injured.
1990, Gulf War. Iraq declares Kuwait to be its newest province. 1990. An F5 tornado strikes the Illinois cities of Plainfield and Joliet, killing 29 people. 1993. NASA's Galileo probe performs a flyby of the asteroid 243 Ida. Astronomers later discover a moon, the first known asteroid moon, in pictures from the flyby, and name it Dactyl. 1993. Singaporean presidential election. Former Deputy Prime Minister Ong Teng Cheong is elected President of Singapore. Although it is the first presidential election to be determined by popular vote, the allowed candidates consist only of Ong and a reluctant whom the government had asked to run to confer upon the election the semblance of an opposition. 1993. The autonomous Croatian community of Herceg Bosnia in Bosnia and Herzegovina is transformed into the Croatian Republic of Herceg Bosnia. 1993. A Tajikistan Airlines Yakovlev Yak-40 crashes during takeoff from Korog Airport in Tajikistan, killing 82. 1996. Chicago. 7 defendant David Dellinger, anti-war activist Bradford Little, civil rights movement historian Randy Krein, and 8 others are arrested by the Federal Protective Service while protesting in a demonstration at the Kluchinsky Federal Building in downtown Chicago during that year's Democratic National Convention. 1998. Pakistan's National Assembly passes a constitutional amendment to make the Quran and Sunnah the supreme law, but the bill is defeated in the Senate. 1998, Second Congo War. Loyalist troops backed by Angolan and Zimbabwean forces repulse the RCD and Rwandan offensive on Kinshasa. 1999. The Russian space mission Soyuz TM-29 reaches completion, ending nearly 10 years of continuous occupation on the space station Mir as it approaches the end of its life.
2003, in one of the most complicated and bizarre crimes in the annals of the FBI, Brian Wells dies after becoming involved in a complex plot involving a bank robbery, a scavenger hunt, and a homemade explosive device. 2009, NASA's Space Shuttle Discovery launches on STS-128.
2016. The first experimental mission of ISRO's scramjet engine towards the realization of an air-breathing propulsion system is successfully conducted from Satish Dhawan Space Center, Shah, Sriharikota. 2017, China-India border standoff. China and India both pull their troops out of Doklam, putting an end to a 2-month-long stalemate over China's construction of a road in disputed territory.